Hello everyone, hello, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all well. Today we have a Prince video, my top 5 favourite Prince songs. Now, as you know, my memory's terrible. I've got the list up here. And this was a requested review quite a while ago, and I do apologise. I can't remember what your name was, and for whatever reason, those Instagram DMs are gone. But I didn't want to film this video originally because I try to be interesting and I try to, not that Prince isn't interesting, I just mean that my top 5 Prince songs aren't some deep cuts or aren't some songs that you've never heard of. All of my Prince songs, top 5 Prince songs, are from his Revolution era in the 80s because I think, not in my personal opinion, that's his best era. But not only that, I think it's one of the greatest musical accomplishments of all time. I mean, he mastered 80s rock and 80s synth pop in a way that no one else did. And I stand by that. The only person in my mind to have ever come close to Prince is David Bowie. Now, before I got into Prince, David Bowie was my favourite solo artist. And now it's Prince. But David Bowie is the only other person that I really listened to that also mastered 80s pop and rock, but we're not talking about him, we're talking about Prince. Now, I think Prince is one of the most talented people I have ever heard of, ever seen. His stuff is just phenomenal. I haven't been buying Prince albums on vinyl because they're a bit hard to come. Now I've got all the big ones, or all the really popular ones. They're a bit hard to come by. And there are a few in my local record shops that I don't have yet, but they're really expensive. So I'm going to try and get some secondhand, see if I can cut the price down a bit. But anyway, let's start with my 5th favourite Prince song, which is When Doves Cry. Now, an interesting fact about that song, which weirdly I didn't realise until someone pointed it out to me, it doesn't have a bass line. Especially, it's not just odd for the time, it's odd for the rock album it's on. Purple Rain. Prince took the bass line out to make it sound more punchy and more unique, and it definitely worked. The beat on that song, do 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 do, is so catchy, and I mean all the songs on this album have these fantastic, catchy choruses, and that's what really draws me in. I call it feel-good music, and it's the kind of stuff you can just put on and sing along to. If you had a bad day or you had a long day, this stuff can really make you feel better. And it's just phenomenal. The song is amazing. And I just love it. I love the punchy drums, and I love his vocals. I love the lyrics. Leave me the world so cold, world so... The way his vocal inflections on it, just the way he sings in general, it just leaves me awestruck. You know, he's one of the greatest singers as well. His vocal harmonies and his vocal ability, that's the term. It's just, again, it's phenomenal. So When Doves Cry is amazing. Now, this one might be a deep cut for some people, but at number 4, we have Mountains. It's only mountains from Tracy's Parade, or I call it Parade, but it's called, I'm blanking on what the full name is. Christopher Tracy's Parade. Amazing movie, amazing soundtrack, my favourite Prince album, but Mountains again is so catchy and upbeat, and the drums and the synths, it's just the perfect song. It's brilliant. It's only and I haven't actually listened to that album Mountains in a while, maybe like a few weeks, but it's still in my head. It's so catchy and good that it stays with you, you know. So that 5 is When Doves Cry, and 4 is Mountains. So top 3. Number 3 is 1999. So 1999 is phenomenal. It's just brilliant. I love the start, which is, it's only on the album, not on the single, I believe. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. So the song has a really doom and gloom lyrics, or it sounds like the world's going to end, so don't throw your life away. Let's party. Let's party until the world ends. So the song it feels like it's about, 1999, or is it Y2K? I was 3 at that time, so I can't remember it, but essentially people believed that when all the clocks ticked over into the 2000s, the world was going to end or something like that. And the song, it's so upbeat and catchy with this amazing chorus, but the lyrics have this kind, the world is a bomb, we could all die any day. But it's so happy. It's one of those weird songs that where the lyrics are sad, but the music is really, really happy. It's just, also, it's a superb way to kick off your album. One of the greatest opening tracks to an album ever. Easily ever. So number 2, we have Raspberry Beret. Oh, the amount of people. So I've been doing YouTube for 2 years. And the amount of people who complain about my singing, it makes me laugh. Because I know I can't sing. And you pointing it out to me makes me want to sing more. But anyway, Raspberry Beret is, in my mind, it's my favourite 80s pop song. Or it's sort of like 80s psychedelia synth pop. And it is just perfect. It is, you know, he mastered the 80s pop. And it's so catchy. And those snares and the drums, the beat is just brilliant. It stays with you. And whenever it comes on while I'm driving for work, I always have to sing along. It's one of those songs you can't skip. You just can't. It's just, oh, and I love it. I could talk about Prince all day. Prince is amazing, but Raspberry Beret number 2. And number 1, which has easily become my favourite Prince song, is Little Red Corvette, do do do. So first of all, 1999, that bleeds into Little Red Corvette, is the perfect way to start off your album. It is those 2 songs as the first songs on your album. I mean, that's just pure genius, pure brilliance. The only other album that comes close to that is Queen's News of the World with We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions as number 1 and 2. But anyway, Little Red Corvette is the perfect rock song. And funny, I learnt this the other day. So the female in their group, who you can see, should be on that, yeah, the lady you can see behind me there. She owned, I forget what car it is. It wasn't a Corvette. I know it wasn't a Corvette. It was one of those classic American cars. I'm not big on American cars, but Prince used to drive it a lot, or he would ask her to borrow it, and he kept crashing it, or he kept denting it. And then he'd go up to her and apologise every time. So anyway, this Little Red Corvette was written about that car. So it's not about, I always thought he was, you know, it was about a girl that he was calling his Little Red Corvette, but it's actually about a car, which is fine in itself. I love cars. But the way he handles the chorus is what makes it my favourite Prince song. Little Red Corvette. It's just phenomenal, amazing. And the guitar in it, again, it's just brilliant. And it's feel-good music. Every song on this album list makes me feel better. You know, I mean, you got songs or you got artists like the Smiths and Joy Division that I listen to, and they're the opposite end. You know, they're not feel-good music, but sometimes you just need songs like this because you need to feel better. But yeah, so number 5, just to recap, I'll put it on the screen, is When Doves Cry. Number 4 is Mountains. Number 3 is 1999. Raspberry Beret, number 2. And Little Red Corvette at number 1. So if you have your own top 5 list, I'd love to hear it down below. Thanks for watching. Join me again soon, and I'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone.